Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Anime Podcast channel. My name is Benji, and today we'll be talking about chapter 1032 of One Piece, Oden's Beloved Sword. And this chapter, we get a little bit more Zoro action. Now, like I said, the more we get into the conclusive parts of the final act of Wano, it's looking like more and more, I'm getting more and more I said more and more so many times. This chapter, we get a lot more Zoro action. And the more that we get from these conclusive parts of Wano is really making me invested to kind of really like see what happens. See whether or not Luffy, Sanji, as well as Zoro actually get these power-ups, or we see them defeat these calamities, and Kaido, because Kaido is the main calamity. But with that being said, I do want to get straight into the chapter. But with that being said, I also do want to mention that One Piece Movie Red just got announced. We're finally gonna see my boy Shanks make his move in 2022, August 6th. I'll talk about it a little bit more, but if you guys haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And join our Discord. We have weekly, daily One Piece discussions, as well as Jujutsu discussions and a whole array of other series. So go ahead and hit that button. Go ahead and join our Discord. But without further ado, let's get right into the chapter review. So we start with a cover page of Yamato, and basically she's doing some kind of delivery service with some black cats. And she's delivering, I don't know what it is, to an older lady. Now, with that being said, I like seeing Yamato in any kind of capacity. So we begin the chapter off with an injured Marco. And basically, he's giving Aizo a ride, basically because Aizo actually is a little bit unsettled by the announcement of this, yokai that's, running amok within Onigashima. And Marco is a little bit, why are you making me fly you around? I'm injured, this, that, and the third. Which I understand. Like, these are, Whitebeard's, main guys. They were like the main crust of the Whitebeard pirates. I don't know. I really like Aizo and I really like Marco, so those two characters are really nice to kind of see. But brief side note, we get a brief panel of Big Mom, and she looks absolutely crazy right now. I don't necessarily know how Law and Kid are going to be able to really defeat her, because of right now, it's not only has she given 1 year of her own lifespan, but she's created multiple homies out of the steel beams that fell on her in the previous chapters. And I don't know how that's going to go, but I am interested to see how that kind of, clicks. Maybe we could see more iterations of Law's, awakened abilities as well as Kid's. And I think we all can agree that Kid absolutely needs a W, or else he'll be a laughingstock within One Piece. But that's just me. So we also cut to another brief panel. Basically, some of the Beast Pirates, and they're trying to get out of the way. Because if you guys don't remember, in the last chapter, Kanjuro, Mr. Bitch Ass, basically he summoned Kazimbo. It's basically like a yokai fire entity that is running amok within Onigashima. And basically they're trying to get out, but the Samurai Alliance is making sure those niggas stay there and burn. But I don't know. I may be looking at it wrong, but I think that's what's happening. But if I am wrong, then I'm sorry. So we then continue on with what is happening with Yamato. And Yamato right now, she's going to the basement of Onigashima in order to remove the explosives and the weaponry that's hidden deep within the bowels of Onigashima. And Yamato is being chased by Apu, who's very adamant about getting Yamato on his side. And Drake is following Apu because he wants to make sure that he murks Apu. So then we get reintroduced to the monster that was chasing Yamato last chapter. And turns out that it's actually one of her friends. I believe his name is Fuga, because that's all he says. And I think she also calls him Fuga a little bit later on in the chapter. But I don't know. I found that pretty dope. And Fuga is a number. Now, if you guys do remember, the numbers are basically failed giant race experiments that came from Punk Hazard to actually join Kaido in his beast pirate army. But anyways, moving on. Out of nowhere, we see two very familiar faces. We see Brook and we see Robin. And we see two other unfamiliar but familiar faces, the CP0 agents with the mask. And they're actually falling through some of the floors of Onigashima. Obviously, Brook and Robin are trying to get away from the CP0 agents because as of right now, they're trying to capture Robin. And if things couldn't get any worse, With that being said, Kazimbo, the ghost yokai that Kanjuro summoned in last chapter, is following them as well. And basically, this actually ties into this being, much more worse of a situation than it actually is, because Kazimbo right now, its main objectives, seemingly as far as Kanjuro's will, is I think it's going towards the explosive at the bottom of Onigashima. But as Brook and Robin are falling in these, holes that are being created in Onigashima, Brook and Robin actually land right on top of Fuga, the number that is chasing Yamato, or that is friends of Yamato. And unluckily for the CP0 agents, they get caught up by Kazimbo and basically burns them. But the thing about it is, and I feel like this is a testament to CP0 masked agents' durability, and I'm actually really excited to see more of how they kind of utilize their combat, because Robin did describe in the last chapter that the masked agents of CP0 are on a whole another level than the ones that we already know of, like Lucci and other ones. And the thing that makes this interesting is they get engulfed in Kazumbo, the yokai ghost, the fire ghost. But they don't really seem too affected by the fire. Like, it burns them, but there's no, like, I don't think there's any like screams from them at all. Like, they kind of just take it and move on. So as Yamato continues, he actually sees that Kazimbo, the fire yokai, is actually making its way down to the bowels of Onigashima. And I feel like this is more of a Korazumi like will, Korazumi clan will. Basically because Kanjuro as well as bitch ass Orochi, this is their final act. This is their final display of, the will of the Korazumi clan. So with that being said, Yamato notices this and actually, asks Fuga to kind of help her remove these explosives from the bottom of Onigashima in hopes to save the people of Wano. The only thing is, I'm kind of nervous to see in what kind of capacity. I hope Yamato makes it out of there alive. I wonder what her plan is, going forward. But I don't know. We can see what happens. I'm kind of interested to see kind of what happens with that. But Kazumbo actually lands, and it separates the CP0 agents along with Brook and Robin, allowing Brook and Robin to make an escape. This is a good opportunity because also the CP0 masked agents can't necessarily like just walk through the fire ghost. So there's that. Even though it did seem like they didn't get too injured by it, I don't think that they can last within the ghost for too long. So I think that kind of makes sense. So moving on, the CP0 agents actually face Apu. And the thing that makes this funny, like, Apu is such an opportunist. The first thing that he does is he starts taking pictures of the mass CP0 agents and basically says that he's going to send these pictures to Morgans. That way he can post them all over the world. And basically, the CP mass agent is on a whole different type of level. And the CP0 agents are slick different. Like, the CP0 agent basically comes in, basically bodies Apu. Apu's on the ground. Kind of looks like he's murked, but you see him later on in the chapter. And the thing that's kind of crazy is this is the first time where we're seeing these mass agents really go into battle. I really want to see what they're capable of going forward in the series or in these future chapters in Wano. So then, like I said, Drake was like accompanied by Apu when they got blocked off by Kazumbo, and basically the CP0 agent states this to Drake. Ex-Drake, I hope you didn't assume that your true allegiance wouldn't remain a secret to CP0. Then Drake says, if you already know, I'm dying to hear your excuse for being here. And then the CP0 agent says this, we're here for pest control. Not gonna lie, that's a fire-ass line. So we see the CP0 agent, the main agent, lunge directly towards Drake. And before he even attacks, Apu is kind of like, hits him with one of those weak-ass music blasts and pops him right in the face. And then we get this funny interaction between Drake and Apu. Basically, Drake was like, oh, shit, I thought you got murked. And then Apu was like, nah, man, I use my armament hockey, bro. Shut up, dumbass. Like, on some shit. That shit was funny. But then after this, we get a panel of both Drake and Apu teaming up to fight the CP0 masked agents. I'm very excited to see where this goes from here on out. And also, I'm also glad that Robin isn't really in danger now of being captured. We'll see later on, but I don't want Robin to be captured again. I feel like that's some bullshit. So I do want to see what happens there. Now, finally, we make it to the final part of the chapter. and shit gets weird. But let me explain. So we see King, and he is actually transforming into his pterodactyl form. But then we see, so then we see King, and he uses this weird thing where he pulls back his beak basically and snaps it back like a slingshot, and it's called Tempora Oden. Um, Now, I don't know what Oda was smoking when he made this attack, because he did the same thing with the Brachiosaurus with Queen and the Queen and Sanji fight. But I don't know. That's just funny. I think he likes to do these comical like attacks sometimes in the midst of a heated and serious battle. But I just think that's Oda trolling. But I don't know. There's that. And then King states that this is how the pterodactyls fought, or this is how they hunted back in the historical time, which I feel like is cap. And then Zoro is like, yo, like, this shit is like a laser beam. Like, there's no way I could have defended that. And he gets out the way. So with that, Zoro says, is that so? And Zoro looks really drained right now. I feel like I said, this is Zoro's hardest test for the series, I believe. I don't think I've ever seen Zoro really be pitted against such a tough component other than maybe Mihawk early on in the series. But I don't know, this is getting pretty good. So then Zoro, he releases a 360 caliber Phoenix attack right at King, but it misses. So then you see this funny interaction between Zoro and King. So basically Zoro says, if I can't find a way to reach him, I'm just wasting my energy. I suppose pterodactyls flew with fire on their back too. And then King says no. And then Zoro says, get your story straight, in a little funny panel on the corner. But at this point, Zoro realizes that, if the battle continues like this, he's going to eventually run out of steam. Like, there's no way that he can, accomplish this. And if you guys remember, Zoro is not in really good shape after this medicine wears off from the minks that was given to him after his battle with Kaido as well as Big Mom. He took a lot of shots on that rooftop battle. So Zoro unleashes the Kalasutra Great Dragon Twister, a wind attack. Like I said, it kind of ties into that elemental hockey theory with Zoro. But with that being said, King immediately is able to dodge it with his wings. Not the wings that he used as a pterodactyl, but his wings that he uses in his humanoid form. So then later on, King actually talks down to Zoro so much that he says, I'll even give you a shot and I'll fight you with my sword rather than being into my pterodactyl form. And at this point, Zoro's kind of realizing that, those two attacks haven't even drawn a single drop of blood from King. And right now, he's in this self kind of confliction on whether or not he'll be able to actually win this battle, because he doesn't know, any kind of weakness that he's seeing from the attacks that Zoro is actually throwing out. And like I said, this doubles down to the fact that this is Zoro's biggest challenge, I believe, since the time skip. Zoro hasn't had an opponent this difficult other than Kaido. And I'm really excited to see how Zoro overcomes this obstacle. This is just going to be another assignment in order for him to reach that pinnacle where he is the best swordsman in the One Piece verse, or in the world. And we see these 3 panels where Zoro says this: I don't think I can win without knowing what he is. So basically, depending on the race or certain things, he doesn't really see any kind of weakness within King right now. And that's the self-confliction that I love to see that's going on within Sanji and Zoro. Sanji's a little bit more emotional, a little bit more character driven, but Zoro, like I said, Zoro been one-shotting, niggas from the time skip. This is his toughest battle yet, so mentally, this is kind of draining on him. But yeah, the thing that makes this fight so kind of odd is, for one, Zoro asking about King's race, and I know there's a lot of like memes right now on Twitter, kind of saying that Zoro is a police officer because he's depending on the race of King, he's gonna see whether or not he's gonna go all out or not. But on a serious note, I feel like the only reason that Zoro kind of asked this is more so pertaining to what is the weakness that King, or the vulnerability that King has. As of right now, this is Zoro's hardest test to date. He hasn't fought anyone, and from what it seems in this chapter, it's looking like King may be stronger than Zoro. But with that being said, I know people are saying, oh yeah, there's probably going to be an ass pull or some shit like that later on. I don't know. We'll see. But the thing about it is, and we've seen this countless times with numerous characters within One Piece, is battle tactics really make a win or lose situation. We've seen that with Katakuri and Luffy. We're seeing that probably with Luffy and Kaido. I don't see any kind of difference of how that's going to happen in this case. But with that being said, I am excited to see what happens. I do feel like Zoro at some point is going to use the breath of all things. Tactic that he used in previous battles. I believe he used it with Pika as well. And basically, he has this innate ability to find certain, hollow points or certain weak points within certain opponents that he faces. I think that he's kind of struggling at this point to figure out what is the weak point for King. And like I said, going from here on out, we'll see kind of what happens, but I am interested to see what happens in that front. So then after that, Zoro hears a noise, and it sounds like a samisen. Maybe saying that wrong, but I apologize. And basically, this instrument like reacts with Zoro's Enma, and it drains his haki out of his arm. His arm looks skinny, it looks wilted, and basically he screams Enma. Now this is very interesting. Now this doesn't necessarily correlate with the leaks that we saw, but I'm very interested to see how things kind of correlate from here on out. We could very much see Enma possibly fuse with Zoro, but I'm not gonna bet my hopes on it. I do want to kind of see more about his Conqueror's Haki going forward as far as this King battle. But I don't know, we'll see what happens. So now we end the chapter with some bitch-assery. Basically, we see a panel of Orochi, and he's wondering why is this instrument being played, and it's actually being played close to him. And like especially during wartime. Why is this instrument being played during wartime? So basically, he's kind of curious, and he peeks his head through the room across from him. And in the room, we see Kurama Saki. Now, if you guys do remember, that was the alias that Hiyori actually used before anyone knew that she was a child of Oden. Now, since we see Hiyori in this chapter, all of the bullshit Orochi has put Hiyori through. And it has been stated in a panel before that Hiyori wished to kill Orochi herself. I need Hiyori to take the necessary steps to pack the out of Orochi ASAP, cause that nigga. No, but seriously, like Hiyori, I really hope that she has some kind of scheme, and I really believe that Hiyori's involvement in Onigashima right now. I think back in 1004, there was mention of a lurking legend. I believe that lurking legend was Hiyori. So I'm pretty sure we can kind of take 2 and 2 together and pretty surmise that that's the case. And we end the chapter with this dialogue right here. Watch this. God, I am dreaming, or did I pass to the other side? And then Hiyori or Komurasaki. Likewise, my lord. All I want is to spend the rest of our lives together. And then Orochi ends with this. If this is a dream, I don't want to wake up. And that is the end of the chapter. Now, from here on out, there's a couple things that I would like to see. For one, I do want to see how the CP0 agents actually are use their battle, battle tendencies. I want to see how they kind of operate in battle, especially with Robin kind of boosting them before. With that being also said, I do want to see how Zoro overcomes this obstacle, because King does not look like he's weak at all. I feel obviously I feel like King, if we go be honest, King actually used the handicap for Zoro. And no disrespect to Zoro, but I'm saying King using a handicap for Zoro is actually pretty disrespectful. And like I said, I feel like, we're going to get more and more with this Enma thing, and I really want to see what happens with that. If you guys don't know, Hiyori, the heirloom that she was given by Oden, Enma was given to Zoro before he went off to battle at the rooftop or Onigashima. So I do want to kind of see how this kind of plays out for his character and how he's going to overcome this obstacle. Whether or not King could use any of his Linearian powers at all, I don't know. We might see. But as of right now, I'm very satisfied with this chapter. Another 10 out of 10 chapter. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. And let me know if you guys like these reviews. I got a couple more One Piece and other manga videos coming to you soon. And go ahead and check out our Geek Giant podcast. We do podcasts weekly. We talk about all kinds of anime, manga, anything going on in the anime sphere. And with that being said, thank you so much for the love and support. I love you guys, and peace.